Hello and welcome to Leaders, Change Makers, Movers and Shakers. My name is Simone Nickham. I am an empowerment coach with VisionWorks TT. It is a pleasure to have you join this open house session, this collaboration with the UP Center of Executive Education. And we've made it to 2021, something that I'm sure none of us right now takes for granted. As leaders in our respective areas, I know that the events of 2020 has really brought a measure of seemingly perfect vision in the sense that, the pandemic has been like a super filter. It made us more aware, above all, that people matter. Just waking up every morning, being able to connect with our loved ones, brought us a sense of joy, peace. But we're also a part of a bigger picture. And we represent and lead causes, organizations, ministries, groups, and the list can go on. And so the list is so broad that if we had a hat for every role that we play, can you imagine how big a head we would have? But even more so, to carry that head, we need some strong shoulders. So we here at VisionWorks, we understand that it takes more than just a big head or strong shoulders to keep things going and to have you show up as your best. So today, it's my pleasure to be sharing 3 of my top tips as an empowerment coach to help you show up as your best in whatever role you have, and with or without the many hats that you wear. Speaking about hats, to begin, I want us to just take some time to remove all the hats that we wear, right? I know it's already the 8th of January. A lot has happened. Today is Friday. I want to give you some time just to unpack, just for you to be present here in this moment as you, right? Think of it as that moment in the airplane where the stewardess gives you instructions and she tells you, if the oxygen mask comes down, you put on the mask first. Get your oxygen in, because then you're in a better place that you can help somebody else. So this is our oxygen moment, where we're going to focus on us for these few minutes that I'll be sharing. So right now, I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a deep breath and then slowly release it out. And while you're releasing it, I want you to say to yourself, all will be well. So right now, just close your eyes and I'll count to 10. Take a deep breath in and release it out slowly and say to yourself, all will be well. Starting now. 10, 1. Okay. Nice. So I want to share something with you. John Maxwell, who's a leadership thought leader and a guru, as some people might say, he gave an example of a time he walked into the office. He had hired a gentleman to run a unit, and he was in the office space. The gentleman walked in, he told them good morning, and went straight into his office. But John was standing there with a group of a few people. You know how we do it. We now get into the office, we touch base with colleagues. But for John, something wasn't right. So John went into the office and he said, hey, what just happened there? So the guy says, well, I'm here to do a job. I'm here at my desk, lots to do, busy, busy, busy. And then John says to him, yeah, but you actually just passed your most important work assignment, your team. And sometimes we can get so involved and consumed in stuff that we miss what we need to do as leaders and as people who are influencers, right? So I'm going to share 3 empowerment tips to help us to manage the way we show up, whether it's in the office or in our personal space. And I'll start with number 1, which is to be an intentional individual. When you're intentional, you choose to make decisions and take action on what's really important to you. Remember your oxygen mask, right? And what that means is, what do you do well? And where possibly do you drop the ball concerning you? For me, I learned in 2020 that working from home wasn't all that was cut out to be. So I found myself on this treadmill working, and then my shoulders started to hurt, my health suffered, and I had to make a decision. I had to be intentional about taking care of myself so that I could be of value to the organization that I work with. Nobody's going to do it for us. We're the ones who have to do it for ourselves. So in becoming more intentional in terms of my health, you can imagine how much it helped to relieve stress levels that I was feeling that I didn't even know I was feeling. So today I'm asking you, as you go forward in 2021, always take time out for yourself to be intentional about you. I actually put my phone to alarm for 5:30. So every afternoon, no matter where I'm at work, I stop and I go walk. The good thing about that is, with all the exercise that I've been getting in, I've been able to have that extra slice of fruitcake and not feel guilty at all about it. So let me ask you, I'm going to challenge you. Which aspect of you are you going to be intentional about in 2021? And I hope that you will give it some thought and pursue it. Because to give your best, you have to be at your best. And then you will attract the best. Okay? Wonderful. So that's tip number 1, be intentional as an individual. My second tip is to be an inspirational leader. And it's something that we hear a lot of times, inspirational leader. Yeah, and it sounds so good. But have you considered what your leadership quotient or level or grade is? What is it that gives a leader inspirational value? How do people see a person that they will say, wow, this person inspires me? Every organization is different. Every entity is different. But there are some core values that are universal. So right now, I want us to take a look at this short video and you'll see what I mean.
I've worked with the Navy SEALs, and I asked them, like, how do you pick like the guys that go on SEAL Team 6, right? Because they're the best, the best, the best, the best. And they drew a graph for me, and on one side they wrote the word performance, and on the other side they wrote the word trust. The way they define the terms is performance on the battlefield and performance off the battlefield. So this is your skills. This is, did you make your quarterly earnings, however you want to translate it, right? Performance, it's traditional. This is, how are you off the battlefield? What kind of person are you? The way they put it is, I may trust you with my life, but do I trust you with my money and my wife? This is what they told me. Nobody wants this person, the low performer of low trust, of course. Of course, everybody wants this person, the high performer of high trust, of course. What they learned is that this person, the high performer of low trust, is a toxic leader and a toxic team member. And they would rather have a medium performer of high trust, sometimes even a low performer of high trust, it's a relative scale, over this person. This is the highest performing organization on the planet, and this person is more important than this person. And the problem in business is we have lopsided metrics. We have 1,000,001 metrics to measure someone's performance and negligible to no metrics to measure someone's trustworthiness. And so what we end up doing is promoting or bonusing toxicity in our businesses, which is bad for the long game because it eventually destroys the whole organization. The irony is it's unbelievably easy to find these people. Go to any team and say, who's the and they will all point to the same person. Equally, if you go to any team and say, who do you trust more than anybody else? Who's always got your back? And when the chips are down, they will be there with you. They will also all point to the same person. It's the best gifted natural leader who's creating an environment for everybody else to succeed, and they may not be your most individual highest performer. But that person, you better keep them on your team.
And there we have it. So we're talking about inspirational leadership. Performance is important, but trust has a lot of weight and value when it comes to inspiring our team, because trust tends to be a good foundation that people connect with and they're able to grow with. Just to give you an example, last year, the start of 2020, I worked with a vice president. She was new to the division, so was I. And she had her goals. She had to come good. Performance was important. And then bam, COVID-19. By the third week in March, we're looking at how can we deal with this and still meet performance goals. What she did when she met with us, 3 words. She would ask, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? And those 3 words set the tone for the rest of the meeting. And it's not just the words, but she took the time to listen. I remember one time there wasn't much of a response. So she went around the room. Well, we're virtual, but she called out everybody, how are you doing? Because she really wanted to know. She was concerned. That shows a lot of empathy and trust. Another thing she do, remember I said she's new. She's new to this division, not new to the organization, but there's some things that were new to her. What did she do as a leader? She drew on strengths from each of her team members, which is important because she understands that I don't know everything. And it's fine to admit that, even if you are a leader. That's what makes you a quality leader and an inspiring one. When you can reach out to your staff and in exchange, they feel that you have that level of confidence and trust in them. So guess what's going to happen? Trust, feeding trust. We're building on trust. You're definitely going to be an inspired leader that the rest of the team wants to follow. Even if it's not a team, it could be that you're an entrepreneur or you have something that you're doing on the side. It could be that you're a member of the team. Go ahead and speak up. Share your expertise or idea. If you're into marketing or sales or you have your own business, sometimes it doesn't always have to be about going after the money. If you give someone a good piece of advice, they will come back for more. So these are ways that we build trust, not just with our team, but with the people that we relate with and to. There's another saying by John Maxwell, and if I'm referring to him, it's because I've been a certified coach with John Maxwell Leadership Training since 2016. But John Maxwell says this about leadership. He says leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. So when you're intentional, right, which was the first tip I shared, and when you are inspirational, the second tip I shared, you're on your way to becoming, what is my third tip, influential. So, my empowerment tip number 3 for you to show up well is to become a person of influence. And I'm talking to our social impact activists. I'm talking to team leaders. I'm talking to you if you're just a member of a group. You're an influencer because inside of you, there's leadership in whichever space you operate, even in the family. It takes 2 hands to clap, right? And when we think about clapping, it takes coordination and agreement. Every cause that you represent has its clients and it has its supporters. How can we become a person of influence? I'm glad you asked. I'll go back to the first tip. To become a person of influence, be intentional about yourself, being your best and showing up as your best. Another way to become a person of influence, look back at tip number 2. Be an inspirational leader, especially because in the social impact space, you rely a lot on volunteers or you need to get the help from the corporate side, individuals who will be benefactors to the cause. And when you show that you are an inspired leader, when they see that people trust you, they're going to buy into that trust as well. So you bring it all together, and what you have is an influential person. But still, you can fine-tune it. And this is how you do it. Be clear on your message. What is the social impact you want to bring? Be clear on the message. So people don't have to wonder, are you here today or are you in some other space, right? Additionally, if you're a person, if it's an individual leader, be clear on your brand. And your brand is your image. Your brand is your message. Your brand is what people see and hear from you consistently. So be clear on it and then be intentional about getting to it. Be intentional about who your clients are. Be intentional about who you need to get help from. And also, it helps to know what is happening in the industry around you. This is a very, very fruitful time where corporate partners and government institutions are more than ready to contribute to various causes, where the results give a success story. So just to give a quick example, and I'm going to use the Single Mothers Association. Their clients, obviously, will be single mothers. Their supporters, the persons who invest in them, will be institutions who can provide financial support, so the Ministry of Social Development, for example, as well as other corporate institutions. But you know what adds further to their influence, to them becoming a person of influence? When you have a program that will help your clients transition into independence. So for example, the Single Mothers Association, they actually have a program, and this is not a paid advertisement, but I'm just sharing the example. They're one of the clients of VisionWorks, but they have a program where they help single mothers to be equipped so that they can help themselves in the not too distant future. When you have a social cause like that, along with a program, corporate entities see you as being, institutions they want to associate with. So you get a sense that you're not just asking for a handout, but you're asking to make a big difference that society benefits from. Yeah? So those were my 3 empowerment tips to help you through 2021 to show up at your best. And just to remind you, it's 1, be intentional as an individual, you count. 2, be inspirational as a leader, build trust. 3, become influential. Be confident in what your cause is about and how you connect. We don't know when and how this situation may change in 2021. But then life is 10% what happens to us, 90% how we respond to it. So let's use that 90% advantage we have to be intentional, to be inspirational, and to be influencers. Thank you.